Hi, my name's Chris Bailey and I'm here today to teach you how to fish. Fishing has been around since basically the beginning of mankind. It's been used for a long time in the early ages as a survival technique to catch food for your families or tribes in order to survive. But nowadays, people usually fish for recreation or even as competition sport. There's inland and offland fishing. Offland fishing is more saltwater poles and much larger catches. Inland fishing, which is what we're going to cover in this video, is more of the modernized, non-coastal fishing for bass, trouts. It's the more recreational fishing that you'll see more commonly on TV. And it's what we're going to cover in this video, so let's get to it. First things first, one of the important things you got to know about fishing is knowing your pole. Here is my fishing pole. It's just one of your standard above average fishing poles. I already have it lured up. That's just one of the lure choices you can use while fishing. Once you have your fishing pole, you also have your tackle box, which has all your equipment like weights and hooks and other lures while you're fishing. The parts of your poles are starting from the main function, which is your reel. Your reel controls the coil of the string, which helps you cast out and everything. The string's very important for your pole. Right here is the bail. When operated, the bail moves up and down like this, releasing the string from the coil, which allows the string to move outwards. This is the reel. When you're reeling in the pole, it goes in and it recoils the string right here in the rod. Then out in the section of the pole here, we have your handles. You got your front and back handles. Some are made out of cork material. This is made out of rubber. The rod adjustment right here, this keeps the rod onto the pole. The pole then continues upward to when you get to the string loops, which guide the string all the way to the top of the pole, which is up here. The string loops help guide the string all the way along the bottom end of the pole so you get less untangled. At the end of the string is where you have your lure or hook tied up. The assembly is done right here. When the pole is not being used, it is then hooked on one of the loops for safety. Here is the close-up of the pole. Here's one of your basic setup for tackle boxes. Here's all your dividers, dividing all the equipment within the tackle box. Some tackle boxes may come with extra dividers, depending on how much equipment you may have. This one specifically is separated by the function of the equipment. Right here you got weights. Take one out to show you. Here's one of the weights that you can tie up on your string. Most common weights are usually this type right here. These are the clamp weights, if you guys can see. Clamp weights are more commonly used when on inland fishing. This right here is used for bass fishing. It's a mock fish with lip right here and two hooks. This lip is here for certain movements in the water. This one would probably do more dives and rises depending on the way you're holding your pole. Right here's another bass lure. This is a jerkbait lure with a shiner on it, which goes like this through the water, and this twirls in such a way that shines light, which catches the fish's attention. These are bobbers, which are more commonly used for beginner fishermen. They sit on the top of the water after you cast, and if a fish goes for your bait, it bobs down under the water so the fisherman can see that there's something on the line. They can try to hook it. Most commonly used on the fishing pole are hooks. Here's a big clump of assorted hooks. I'll take one out here for you. Hooks are tied straight on the line, or they are attached with this clamp right here. These two commonly used equipments, the hooks and the clamp, help make switching through lures and hooks easier, especially with the clamp here, because the way it opens up like that. The last things that I have mock worms here for people who don't like using real worms or just can't find them. These also twist a certain way depending on how the tail is shaped to attract different types of fish. Now that I've just gone over the equipment and the pole, now I'm going to show you how to set the pole up. First, start off by opening the bail here. We're going to take string out from the reel, and then we're going to run them through the loops over here. First loop is big, and then the loops gradually get smaller as you go. I have the pole broken down here so you can see a little easier. We're going to set up the pole using one of my bass lures here, the jerk bait, and we're going to set it up with one of the swivel clamps and with 3 weights. So now that we have the string through the loops here, close the bail and tighten the string so it goes around the bail here. And now we can start tying the knot. The knot we're going to use is the fisherman's knot. It's a sophisticated knot, so it helps keep everything tied together when you're fighting a fish. Gonna get it through the loop here. Pull it up so we have a few inches of space here. And then you're just gonna twirl this between 15 and 20 times, so that the string gets coiled together. And there should be a space right down by the loop here in the string. There's a loop that the string creates after you twist it. You're going to take the string, put it through that loop. It's like threading a needle. Once you get it through the loop, you're going to pull it until the coiled string gets down to the loop of the hook here, or the clamp, and you're going to tighten it shut with your thumb. Now that we got the clamp tied to the string, we're going to use a multi-tool, which is very important to have while fishing. I'm going to use this here to tighten it as much as possible, and then we're going to use our scissors to cut the extra string off. I'm going to leave about 1/2 inch of string from the knot. So now you got your clamp tied on, and then you unclamp it just like that. Take your lure, you got it on the clamp now, and boom, it's on. When you're done with that, then you can properly space your weights. I'm using the common weights here. I'm going to put 3 of them on, closing by finger. I usually close them about 1 inch apart. And then you take your multi-tool again with your plier attachment, and you tighten the weights to finish setting up your pole, and so that when you cast, the weights don't fly off. And there you have it. Your pole is ready to go. I will now demonstrate how to properly hook a worm. In this demonstration, I am using a rubber worm. First, you want to start off by finding the thicker area on the worm. This is called the muscle on the real worm. You want to take your hook here, put it right in that thicker area, just like this. And you want to then start pushing the worm up along the curve of the hook. You want to push it in a fashion so that it curves around the hook like this. Once you have it like this, you break the hook out of the side of the worm like that, and you slide the worm up the hook. So now your worm is properly on the hook, and when the fish comes in to bite it, it could be hooked. Now that I've shown you guys everything you need to know about your equipment and your pole, now I'm going to demonstrate how to properly cast the pole. Because this is a bail pole and not a push button pole, in order to cast it, you need to make sure that you grab your string here and lie it against the bail, and then you unfold the bail so it's open like this, and that's when you want to do your casting motion, which I'll demonstrate next. Once you have your bail bent back the way I just showed you, you want to then get into your position for when you want to flick the pole, which will cast it. I will now demonstrate to you how to properly cast with the right motions and the right bail movements. When you're reeling in your pole once you've cast, you want to start off slowly like this. You don't want to go too fast, because then if the fish is chasing your line, he will miss the bite and or will bite incorrectly, and you might hook him the wrong way through an eye, or he might even swallow it because he's surprised. If you're the type of person who would like to cast and sit and wait, then you will be watching your line along the top of the water to see if it starts moving outward. Once it starts moving outward, you'd want to give your pole a nice little pull like this. That will hook the fish, because what he's doing is he's actually taking your bait away. When the sudden pull will hook him properly, and then you can start reeling him in. After you set the hook on the fish is going to start swimming in different directions. When you're reeling in your fish on the line, you want to follow the direction of the fish, the way he's swimming. That will lessen the tension on the line and lower the chances of the line snapping while trying to reel in the fish. Once you've successfully reeled in your fish and you have them in your hand, measure it, take your pictures, do whatever, just make sure you unhook them and throw them back, and you can continue fishing. Now that I've shown you guys everything that you need to know about fishing, and I even talked about some of the basic knowledge and facts about fishing earlier, I hope you guys get the ability to get your hands on a pole and go out to that pond and enjoy yourself some fishing on your own, and I hope you guys learned a lot. Thanks for watching.